Have you ever thought about what life might feel like if you end up living alone as you age? Many people don't consider it until it actually happens. When loved ones move away, friends pass on, and daily life becomes quieter than ever. The reality is, aging alone can be one of the toughest experiences, but it doesn't have to be filled with loneliness. With the right mindset and daily habits, you can still create a fulfilling, meaningful life even when you're on your own. The truth is, as we get older, it can feel like time slips by and the world around us changes in ways we didn't expect. But staying mentally sharp, physically active, and emotionally strong can help you make the most of this stage in life. In this video, we'll discuss 6 essential things you should do every day if you find yourself growing older alone. These habits are not just about filling time, they're about enriching your life with purpose and connection so you can embrace each day with peace and fulfillment. Stay with me until the end, because the simple changes you make today can transform the way you experience aging, helping you build a life that is rewarding and completely your own. Let's get started. That's why the first habit we need to embrace as we age is establishing a daily routine. At first glance, it may seem like a small thing, just organizing your day, but in reality, having a simple, steady routine is one of the most powerful ways to restore direction, purpose, and emotional stability in later life. As we get older, especially after retirement or the loss of a partner, the days can begin to blur together. Without work schedules or daily obligations to anchor us, we can wake up feeling unmoored, wondering what we're supposed to do with the time we have. And over time, that lack of structure can quietly chip away at our mental well-being. In fact, research has shown that routine plays a critical role in healthy aging. A study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that older adults with regular daily patterns, including consistent wake-up and sleep times, reported better mood, more energy, and greater cognitive function compared to those with irregular habits. Routine isn't about being busy all the time. It's about giving your days a rhythm, a reliable framework that supports your mental and physical health. It's like setting your internal compass every morning so you don't drift through the day without direction. And the good news is, your routine doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler and more enjoyable it is, the more likely you are to stick with it. A healthy routine can include things like waking up at the same time each morning, making your bed, enjoying a nutritious breakfast, going for a short walk, reading, calling a friend, or tending to your garden. What matters most is not what's on the list, but that the list exists, and that it brings a sense of purpose to your day. Take Mr. Harold, for example. He's a 74-year-old widower who struggled deeply after losing his wife. The days felt long and empty, and he often found himself staying in bed late, skipping meals and watching television for hours just to pass the time. It wasn't that he lacked things to do, he simply didn't feel motivated to do them. After talking to his daughter, he decided to try something new. He wrote out a very simple routine: wake up at 7, stretch for 5 minutes, make breakfast, read for 30 minutes, and spend time in his backyard. In the afternoons, he reserved time to call a friend or do a small project around the house. At night, he had a short wind-down routine that included journaling about one thing he was grateful for. Within just a few weeks, Harold began feeling more alert, more present, and more grounded. He wasn't just passing time anymore, he was participating in his own life again. This kind of transformation isn't just anecdotal. According to a 2020 study from the National Institute on Aging, maintaining a regular schedule not only improves sleep quality, but also reduces the risk of depression and anxiety in older adults. It helps regulate your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock, so you feel more energized during the day and more restful at night. Even something as simple as waking up at the same time each day can improve memory, concentration, and immune function. But perhaps one of the most overlooked benefits of a daily routine is the emotional reassurance it provides. In a world that can sometimes feel uncertain or overwhelming, especially as we age, routine gives us something solid to hold on to. It reminds us that we have agency over how we spend our time. It gives us a sense of control, which becomes more important, not less, as we grow older. And when life throws us curveballs, it's often our habits and routines that help us stay steady and centered. Now, it's important to remember that a routine should be life-giving, not rigid. You're not trying to follow a strict schedule like a factory worker. You're creating a gentle rhythm that honors your body, your interests, and your needs. If you enjoy morning sunlight, maybe your routine starts with stepping outside and listening to the birds. If you love to write, include 10 quiet minutes with your journal. The routine is a tool, not a rule. It's meant to support you, not to confine you. And if you're someone who feels like your days are drifting or blending together, don't worry, you're not alone. That's a common feeling, especially after retirement or during life transitions. But one small step like writing out a morning routine or planning what time you'll go for a walk can shift everything. Start small, be kind to yourself. Focus on consistency, not perfection, and trust that little by little you'll begin to feel more grounded, more capable, and more connected to your own life. Because in the end, a well-crafted routine doesn't just structure your day, it restores your sense of meaning. It turns time into a blessing, not a burden. And it reminds you every morning that your life still has rhythm, value, and purpose, building on the foundation of a steady daily routine. The second habit that can truly transform your quality of life as you age is incorporating physical movement into your day. And no, we're not talking about running marathons or spending hours at the gym. We're talking about simple, consistent movement that keeps your body strong, your joints flexible, and your energy levels steady. As we get older, it's all too easy to slip into a more sedentary lifestyle, especially if you're retired or living alone. But the truth is, inactivity speeds up the aging process. When you stop moving regularly, your muscles start to weaken, your balance can become unstable, and even ordinary tasks like getting out of a chair or climbing the stairs can begin to feel like challenges. But here's the good news, just a small amount of regular movement each day can make an enormous difference. In fact, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, older adults who engage in moderate physical activity for as little as 150 minutes a week, just 20-30 minutes a day, significantly reduce their risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, depression, and even certain cancers. What's more, regular movement helps improve sleep quality, boosts mood, and enhances your ability to stay independent longer. And you don't need fancy equipment or a personal trainer to start. Walking around the block, stretching your arms and legs in the morning, doing gentle yoga in your living room, or dancing to your favorite song in the kitchen all count as meaningful movement. The key is consistency, doing something every day to keep your body in motion. Let me introduce you to Clara, a 76-year-old grandmother who had always considered herself fairly active. But after a minor fall that shook her confidence, she started staying indoors more and moving less. She began noticing stiffness in her hips, difficulty bending down, and a sense of fatigue that never quite lifted. Her doctor encouraged her to try a gentle daily movement routine, not intense workouts, but low-impact activities that would restore her strength and flexibility. Clara started with 5-minute morning stretches and added a 10-minute walk in the afternoon. At first it was tough. Her muscles felt tight, and she got winded easily. But she stuck with it, and after just 3 weeks, she was moving more freely. She felt steadier on her feet, more energized, and even started sleeping better at night. Encouraged, she joined a local Tai Chi class for seniors twice a week. Not only did it improve her balance and posture, but it also gave her a sense of community and joy she hadn't felt in a long time. Stories like Clara's are backed by science. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that regular physical activity can reduce the risk of falling in older adults by up to 23%, especially when that movement includes balance and strength training. Falls are a leading cause of injury among seniors, but movement is one of the best protections you can give yourself. Even more encouraging research from the Harvard Medical School has shown that older adults who walk just 30 minutes a day have significantly better brain function and memory than those who remain sedentary. So while movement protects your body, it also nourishes your mind. But perhaps the most powerful benefit of daily movement is how it makes you feel inside. Physical activity naturally boosts the production of endorphins, your brain's feel-good chemicals. That means moving your body isn't just about physical fitness. It's also one of the most effective and natural ways to fight sadness, anxiety, and stress. It lifts your spirits, sharpens your mind, and reminds you that your body is still capable, still strong, still yours. And remember, movement can and should be enjoyable. You don't have to follow anyone else's routine. Love gardening, that's movement. Enjoy sweeping the porch or walking your dog. That counts too. The point is to weave motion into your life in ways that feel natural and uplifting. You can start small, stand up and stretch every hour, take a short walk after meals, or try a chair yoga video on YouTube. The important thing is to start and to keep going. Because the more you move, the more you'll want to move. And the more you move, the more you protect your independence, your energy, and your joy. So ask yourself, what small movement can I add to my day today? Maybe it's a 5-minute stroll, a few arm circles, or simply standing up during commercial breaks. Whatever it is, do it with intention, because every step you take is an investment, not just in your health, but in your freedom to keep living life on your own terms. Just as movement keeps the body strong, the third habit essential to aging well is staying socially connected. While physical activity strengthens your muscles, it's your relationships that nourish your heart, mind, and soul. As we grow older, it's natural for social circles to shift. Friends move away. Loved ones become busier, and some dear companions may no longer be with us. It can be easy, even without realizing it, to slip into a quieter, more isolated life. And while a little solitude can be refreshing, too much isolation can quietly erode your emotional and physical health. In fact, loneliness is more than just a sad feeling, it's a real health risk. According to a major study by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, nearly 1 in 4 adults over age 65 in the U.S. is socially isolated. Even more concerning, researchers found that social isolation is associated with a 50% increased risk of dementia, a 32% increased risk of stroke, and a 29% increased risk of heart disease. The data is clear. Staying socially engaged isn't just good for your mood, it's vital for your survival. But the beauty of this truth is that it doesn't take grand events or a packed calendar to stay connected. Small, meaningful moments, a phone call to a friend, a chat with a neighbor, or sharing a laugh with someone at the grocery store can make a lasting impact on your emotional well-being. Let's take the story of Gerald, a 79-year-old retired mechanic. After his wife passed away and his children moved to different states, Gerald found himself spending more and more time alone. His days were quiet, sometimes too quiet. He ate meals by himself, watched TV in silence, and rarely spoke to anyone for days at a time. At first he thought this was just how life was supposed to be at his age. But over time he noticed a growing heaviness, less motivation to get up in the morning, more forgetfulness, and a feeling of dullness that hung over him like a cloud. At the suggestion of a friend, he decided to join a men's coffee group at his local senior center. Just once a week, nothing fancy. But that one day became the highlight of his week. He shared stories, listened, laughed, and slowly felt like himself again. That small step opened the door to more interactions, neighbors he hadn't spoken to in years, phone calls to old friends, even a few emails back and forth with his grandson. Gerald didn't just fill his calendar, he filled his heart, and science backs up what Gerald felt. A 2021 report from the Journal of Aging and Health showed that older adults who participated in even one regular group activity per week experienced better emotional regulation, sharper memory, and reduced symptoms of depression. Even brief conversations have been shown to boost levels of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that reduces stress and improves mood. Staying socially engaged isn't just about avoiding loneliness, it's about enhancing your sense of identity, purpose, and connection to the world. And thanks to today's technology, staying in touch is easier than ever. Video calls, messaging apps, and even online hobby groups allow you to connect across distances. If technology feels intimidating, ask a family member or local library for help. A quick lesson in how to use FaceTime or Zoom can open a whole new world of connection. But it's not just digital tools that matter. In-person interactions, no matter how brief, carry tremendous value. Something as simple as waving at a neighbor or attending a church gathering can restore a sense of belonging. Volunteering is another powerful way to stay engaged. It not only helps others, but it reminds you that you still have gifts to offer, stories to tell, and wisdom that matters. So if you've felt yourself pulling inward lately, take one small step outward. Reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Visit a community center. Join a local group that interests you, even if you just sit quietly and listen at first. The goal isn't quantity, it's quality. One genuine connection can change the tone of your entire week. Because in the end, people are the threads that hold the fabric of life together. You weren't made to walk through life alone. And no matter your age, you still deserve to feel seen, heard, and valued. Staying socially connected is one of the most powerful acts of self-care you can practice. It reminds you that your life still has meaning, not just to you, but to the people around you. And sometimes all it takes to rediscover that truth is a simple hello. Just as staying socially connected keeps your heart open and your spirit lifted, the fourth habit that plays a powerful role in aging well is keeping your mind actively engaged. While many people assume that mental decline is inevitable with age, the truth is your brain is far more adaptable and resilient than you might think. In fact, just like your body needs movement to stay strong, your brain needs regular stimulation to stay sharp. And the good news is, mental stimulation doesn't require a classroom or a textbook. It simply requires curiosity, variety, and the willingness to challenge yourself a little bit each day. Studies have shown that engaging in mentally stimulating activities can help slow the natural cognitive decline that comes with aging. According to a major study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, older adults who regularly read, did puzzles, or learned new skills were 47% less likely to develop symptoms of dementia compared to those who did not. Another report from the National Institute on Aging emphasized that activities involving memory reasoning and processing speed can improve overall brain function and help preserve independence later in life. These findings aren't just numbers. They're real evidence that you can take an active role in protecting your mind. And the best part is, stimulating your brain doesn't have to be hard or boring. It can be as simple as reading the newspaper, playing a card game, learning a new hobby, or doing a crossword puzzle. It can mean taking an online class, listening to a podcast, or writing down your memories for your grandchildren. The goal is to challenge your brain in new ways, because it's novelty and effort that truly make your brain light up and grow. Let me introduce you to Evelyn, a 71-year-old retired librarian. After retiring, Evelyn enjoyed the slower pace of life, but after a year, she started to feel like her days lacked challenge. She wasn't forgetting things, but she noticed she was repeating the same routine, reading the same types of books, and having fewer deep conversations. One day, she heard about a local learn-to-paint class and decided to give it a try. She had never held a paintbrush in her life. At first, she felt clumsy and unsure, but as she kept going, she realized her brain was working in a new way, thinking about colors, interpreting light, and expressing feelings through images. That creative spark reignited her curiosity. She started exploring art history, tried new genres of reading, and even began learning basic Spanish online. Evelyn didn't just improve her memory, she rediscovered her joy for learning, and it gave her something new to look forward to each day. And what Evelyn experienced is backed by neuroscience. A groundbreaking study from the University of Texas at Dallas found that older adults who engaged in learning new and challenging skills like digital photography or quilting showed significant improvements in memory function compared to those who participated in more passive activities. The brain thrives on effortful learning, It's this type of mental exercise that helps build new neural connections, strengthen existing ones, and even increase the size of areas in the brain related to memory and decision-making. But it's not just about brain power, it's also about emotional wellness. Mental stimulation boosts dopamine production, the brain's natural feel-good chemical, which helps regulate mood and increase motivation. That's why trying something new often leaves you feeling more alive and energized. It creates a sense of purpose, accomplishment, and momentum. And it can also protect against depression and apathy, which sometimes sneak in when the mind feels underused or uninspired. So if you've been feeling mentally stuck, bored, or sluggish lately, consider it a sign that your brain is asking for something new. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You can start by choosing one activity that feels fresh or mildly challenging. Maybe it's learning how to use a new app, trying a new recipe, or reading a book in a genre you've never explored. The key is to keep learning, keep stretching, and keep surprising yourself. Because every time you challenge your mind, you're not just maintaining your memory, you're building a stronger, more joyful version of yourself. Your brain, just like your body, was made to grow, adapt, and explore. And no matter how old you are, that incredible ability never disappears. In fact, it may just be waiting for you to wake it up again. So ask yourself, what's one new thing I could learn or try this week, whether it's a new language, a craft, a skill, or a subject you've always been curious about. Know this, the more you engage your mind, the more you reclaim the full richness of your life. Equally important to keeping your mind active is nurturing your emotional well-being, which brings us to the fifth powerful habit for aging: practicing daily gratitude and reflection. While mental stimulation keeps your brain sharp, gratitude softens the heart, calms the mind, and fills your spirit with peace. As we grow older, it's natural to experience loss of loved ones, health roles we once held, or routines we once knew. But amidst these changes, one of the most life-affirming choices you can make is to focus not only on what has changed or disappeared, but on what still remains and what continues to bring joy, no matter how small. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about training your heart to notice the blessings hidden in the everyday moments. And science proves it's worth the effort. A study published in Psychological Science found that older adults who kept a daily gratitude journal experienced lower levels of stress hormones, better sleep, fewer physical complaints, and a significantly lower risk of depression. The simple act of noticing and naming things you're thankful for, like the warmth of the sun on your face, the laughter of a neighbor, or the comfort of your favorite chair, can rewire your brain to be more positive, more present, and more resilient. Gratitude shifts your attention from what's missing to what's meaningful. And just like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Take a story of Norman, an 82-year-old former truck driver. After his wife passed and his children moved across the country, Norman found himself slipping into a quiet sadness. His days felt slow and uneventful, and he often focused on the aches in his body or how empty the house felt. One afternoon, his granddaughter called and asked Grandpa, "What made you smile today?" That simple question stuck with him. The next morning, Norman grabbed a notebook and wrote down 3 things that had made him smile the day before: a bird at the window, a warm cup of coffee, and hearing his granddaughter laugh. He decided to keep going. Every evening, he wrote down 3 small things he appreciated that day. Within a few weeks, something shifted. He still missed his wife, but the heaviness began to lift. He started noticing things he hadn't seen in years: the smell of fresh grass, the way the light hit the kitchen table, the simple pleasure of putting on a warm sweater. That small gratitude habit became his anchor, a way to find meaning in even the quietest days. And what Norman experienced is echoed by neuroscience. According to a 2019 study from the University of California, Berkeley, participants who practiced daily gratitude showed increased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with empathy, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better, it actually changes the way your brain functions, helping you manage emotions and connect more deeply with others. Even more powerfully, gratitude has been shown to lower blood pressure, strengthen immune response, and reduce symptoms of anxiety and chronic pain. Reflection, too, plays a crucial role. Taking just a few minutes each day to pause and look back allows you to gain clarity, process your experiences, and make peace with the past. Many older adults carry regrets, unresolved grief, or difficult memories, but when paired with gratitude, reflection becomes a healing practice. It gives you space to say, "Yes, that was hard, but I made it through," or "That season of my life taught me something valuable." You begin to see not just the pain of the past, but the strength it took to survive it. If you're new to this, start small. Keep a notepad by your bed, and before you go to sleep, jot down 3 things you're grateful for that day. They don't have to be big, just real. Or set aside a few quiet moments in the morning to reflect on a positive memory or a lesson you've learned over the years. If writing isn't your thing, speak it out loud during your morning walk or while you make your coffee. What matters is the intention to see the goodness that is still present and to honor the journey that brought you here. Because every moment of gratitude is a step toward greater peace. It reminds you that even in a world that changes constantly, there are still beautiful constants worth cherishing. Your breath, your memories, your ability to feel love, and your ability to give it. Practicing gratitude and reflection isn't just a soft habit, it's a source of strength, a quiet revolution that shifts the way you see your life. So the next time the day feels ordinary or heavy, pause and ask yourself, what made me smile today? That single question might just change everything. And flowing naturally from the habit of gratitude and reflection comes a final, deeply fulfilling habit that can transform the way you experience your later years, helping others. While gratitude turns your focus inward in a healthy, nourishing way, helping others turns your heart outward, connecting you with people, purpose, and a renewed sense of meaning. You see, one of the most powerful truths about aging is this: even if your pace has slowed or your responsibilities have changed, you still have something incredibly valuable to give. In fact, offering your time, kindness, or wisdom to someone else can be one of the most life-affirming acts you'll ever make, not just for them, but for you as well. Numerous studies have shown that giving to others improves emotional well-being, boosts physical health, and even extends longevity. A report published in the Journal of Health Psychology found that older adults who volunteered regularly had lower levels of inflammation, reduced symptoms of depression, and a 44% lower risk of early death compared to those who did not engage in helping behavior. And it doesn't take a grand gesture. Even small acts of generosity like listening with compassion, mentoring someone younger, or offering a helping hand to a neighbor can spark powerful emotional rewards. That's because giving activates the release of oxytocin and endorphins, sometimes called the helper's high, which reduce stress, ease anxiety, and promote feelings of joy and connection. And at a time in life when many older adults report feeling invisible or unneeded, helping others serves as a powerful reminder that you still matter. You still have influence. You still make a difference. Just ask Carol, a 77-year-old former school secretary who found herself feeling lost after retirement. Her days felt empty, and although she had plenty of time on her hands, she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't contributing anymore. One afternoon, she noticed a flyer at the library asking for reading volunteers to help local elementary students. She signed up, unsure if she still had what it took. But from the first day, something clicked. Sitting with children, listening to their stories, encouraging their progress, it lit a fire in her again. She didn't just help them learn to read, she helped them feel seen and supported. Over time, Carol became a favorite visitor at the school, and those weekly sessions became the highlight of her life. She felt energized, useful, and deeply connected not just to the kids, but to her own sense of self-worth. Her story isn't unique. Research from Carnegie Mellon University shows that older adults who spent just 2 hours a week volunteering experienced improvements in blood pressure, mobility, and life satisfaction. Helping others can come in many forms. It could be tutoring, delivering meals, joining a community cleanup, offering rides to someone without transportation, or even just checking in regularly on a friend who's alone. And if physical limitations make it difficult to volunteer in person, you can still give in meaningful ways. Writing letters, making phone calls, sharing your life experience online, or mentoring someone by phone or video chat. The key is to recognize that your life experience is a treasure chest, and someone out there needs what you have to offer. Helping others also reinforces your sense of purpose, which is critical for healthy aging. According to a study published in JAMA Psychiatry, adults over 65 who reported having a strong sense of purpose were significantly less likely to develop cognitive decline, mobility issues, or chronic disease. In other words, when you feel like you're part of something larger than yourself, when you know that someone else benefits from your presence, you don't just live longer, you live better. And you don't have to look far to find opportunities. Sometimes helping others is as simple as listening, as asking how can I help, or offering encouragement to someone going through a hard time. These seemingly small actions can ripple outward in ways you may never fully see, but that doesn't mean they aren't deeply felt. Because what you give today may be the very thing someone remembers for the rest of their life. So if you've been feeling disconnected, restless, or unsure of your role at this stage of life, ask yourself this simple question. Who needs what I have to give? Your kindness, your experience, your presence. It all matters. And when you give it freely, you don't just lift someone else up, you lift yourself too. Helping others is not about obligation. It's about rediscovering your impact, reclaiming your joy, and reminding yourself every single day that you still have something beautiful to offer this world. And when you bring all 6 of these habits together, building a daily routine, staying physically active, nurturing social connections, keeping your mind engaged, practicing gratitude, and helping others, you create more than just a healthy lifestyle. You create a meaningful, fulfilling rhythm that gives each day a sense of purpose. Aging doesn't mean fading into the background, it means stepping into a new chapter, one that's rich with wisdom, strength, and the power to shape how you want to live. Life may not always go the way we planned. We may face losses, changes, or quiet moments that feel uncertain, but in those moments, these simple habits become anchors. They remind you that you still have choices, you still have a voice, you still matter. And sometimes even one small change, like a morning walk, a phone call, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for, can shift the entire direction of your day. So ask yourself, which habit will you begin today? It doesn't have to be big, just begin. Your life is still full of chapters waiting to be written, and you have the pen in your hand. This video resonated with you. Please take a moment to like it, share it with someone you care about, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear which habit you're working on. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a chance to grow with us. This channel is here to support you, inspire you, and walk beside you as you create a life filled with joy, connection, and purpose. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.